Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another episode of Trudge Report. We are a recovery-based podcast. I'm joined by my good friends and fellow trudgers. Please remember to listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Videos will be posted each week so you can watch episodes on YouTube and Facebook. But as always, please be sure to download on your listening platforms. Remember to like and subscribe on all social media outlets with the handle @TrudgeReportPod. We are brought to you by Stella Mix Podcast Management and our wonderful producer and editor, Miss Janine Stella. Gentlemen, the band is back together. Corey, we got the band back together. Everyone's here. Welcome post New Year's, post holidays. Corey, we're gonna switch things up. We're going right to you, buddy. What's going on? How are you? Welcome back to the show. Holiday travels. Well, I guess welcome me back to the show. Holiday travels, all that. What's going on, buddy?
Well, Shawn, last time I had the band back together, I was smoking crack. So that's what's going on.
Okay. So are you not going to do that this time, do you think? Or
oh no, we're smoking crack live on the pod.
Oh, I'll be there tomorrow morning then.
Yeah. I don't know. Nothing. I'm good. Just crazy. Just the holidays were nuts. We covered some of it last week and kind of back to normal this week. So I don't know.
Kids go back to school tomorrow.
Maya doesn't go back till Tuesday. They have a professional development day after about 2 weeks off. That's cool. Good planning.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That won't reflect in your taxes. Yeah, kids back to school tomorrow. So I'm excited to get up at fucking 5:45 in the morning. And oh my God.
Even though I see you every week at our recovery meeting, Corey, I feel like I haven't seen you in forever on the pod. It's like a weird feeling right now. So it's good to see you. Glad you're doing well.
Yeah. So congrats on the Washington win, I guess, as we were discussing, and it meant nothing, and
it meant nothing.
Whatever. But how does it? Honestly, I'm not all kidding aside. How do you think it feels for teams that are eliminated that have to go play like 2 to 3 more games? Like that kind of sucks, doesn't it?
I'm sure for a lot of players though, it's like developmental and they want to show the coach what they can do because they're playing a lot of second and third string guys. I think those are the ones that it means a lot to. The rest of them, who knows?
I'm assuming the paycheck helped a little bit.
The paycheck probably offsets.
And the fact that hopefully most of them still just love the game. You know what I mean? Hopefully, anyways.
Yeah, I would do it for free. Sign me up.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Chiefs, though. Like, did Travis Kelce play today? I think he did. He did. He got his record or whatever, 13,000 receiving yards or some shit. Yeah. But it's like all for what? Like, I don't know, dude. If it's me, and maybe this is a little, prima donna, but like if it's me, I don't want to get hurt. So if it doesn't mean anything, why should I go out there, right?
Shawn. Yeah, but by that same rationale, then you're not going to have anybody playing the game.
Shawn, we interject. This is definitely coming from a person that does not have a love of sports growing up and played sports.
You love the game. You play no matter what.
You play no matter what, man. If I'm playing 2-on-2 outside in the park, man, I'm going.
You're playing defense and offense. It don't matter.
Always.
It cannot be argued that, like, especially right now in college football, there's way more heart in those players in those games. Not always than the NFL, but a lot of times you can just tell those boys are playing. And to think about it, 85% of college football players are not going to play in the NFL.
Right. Yeah. These dudes are going to be
this is it for them.
These dudes are going to be working on your car in 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to be selling you insurance.
This is it, dude. Yeah.
But aren't they making a really good salary right now?
Huh?
Yeah, a lot of them get big bucks.
So yeah, a lot of them,
but there's so many players on a college football team. It's different than college basketball. You think like college basketball, even the 12th, 13th, 14th guy is probably making what, Dan? 30, 40, 50 grand, 100 grand maybe just to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that in college football because there's 80 guys on a team.
Yeah. I think it's the star positions though, like I know there's backup quarterbacks making $1 million.
Sure. Yeah. Anyways, let's moving on from that. Danny P, how are you? We missed you last week. I wasn't there last week either. How was New York, dude? Tell us a little bit about your trip, holiday, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's funny when Corey was going in the beginning, man. I could see like his face is like my face right now. It's like I don't even know what happened the last 2 weeks. It's such a blur.
All a blur.
Like I could see it on your face, Corey. Like same thing. It's like I don't even remember what happened. But yeah, no, New York was. I mean, that was a highlight, and it's been a goal of mine for a long time. And shout out to Alyssa for toughing it out, walking about 70 blocks through New York City in the wind and all that jazz. And for to fulfill my goal of things I wanted to do with my children, and both the kids had a blast. Empire State Building was awesome. We went up. The winds were about 80 miles per hour. Kids were loving it anyways. Rockefeller Center. I mean, there's just nothing like as much as I'll never ever live in New York City. New York City Christmas time, everybody should do it in their life at least one time because it's just magical, man.
Oh yeah,
it's absolutely magical.
Did you go? Did you go to the top of the rock, or did you?
No, Empire State Building. Yeah, not top of the rock. Yeah, because I was looking at top of the rock, and it was I think it was everyone said it was cheaper. It's the same price. So I was like, I'm going to the real.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to the real deal then. Like I was just like, there's no point because everyone said it was cheaper to do that, but it wasn't. And then, when you go to New York City, man, you got to have money out of your mind. It's a life experience. And we got Maya's first time on the train, all that stuff. It was like truly like almost tears, man. It was amazing to share that with my children and Alyssa. Like it was phenomenal. We won't do it again because, unless I hit the lotto, it was wildly expensive. But yeah, no, it's something that everyone should do. And Christmas was good. New Year's was good, but I mean, yeah, 9 days in Connecticut and getting back to work, I feel normal again. I had started my basketball league this morning. We just got done with softball clinic tonight for 2.5 hours, and back to life. Let's go.
There you go. Good stuff, man. Greg, how's everything? What's going on over there?
We're kind of the same. I didn't go anywhere, and I still feel like just what the hell happened the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm got a week left of vacation. I got a lot of stuff to do to fill my time. A lot of chilling to do too, so that'll be nice. And yeah, it's been a busy holiday week. I was asleep before I had to be woken up for the ball drop. So,
oh my God,
yeah,
you've reached that age.
I've reached that age. I don't know. I wasn't like fully assed out, but I was like in and out of it. You know what I'm saying? It was just, but it was nice. It was again a nice chill evening. Earlier that evening, I actually met somebody who I believe his hand size either rivals Corey's or he might have daintier, smaller.
Wow.
Pretty impressive. I pulled that sucker in for a handshake and I was like, wow.
You take me to him.
These nimbly little suckers. I felt like I knew him. My brother, you're in good company. I know you're kind.
This was a human being.
It was a human being.
Was it a human? Yes. Was it an adult?
It appeared to be an adult. Yes. So,
15 months.
Was it part of the family you're about to marry into?
No.
You take me to the
friend
of.
Bitch. So yes, yeah, it was wow. Different. Couple quick shout outs. I'm not going to bask too much in the mediocrity that is the Cleveland Browns, but I got to give a big shout out to Myles Garrett. Broke the sack record today.
He did do that, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Pretty amazing. And to kind of go along with what we were just talking about is like, yeah, I get it. He's chasing a record or whatever, but I've watched him the last 2 games. The guy's out there just hustling every single play of the game, last 2 weeks. So, big ups to him. Like I said, we don't get to celebrate too much out here in the Cleveland sports world. So, we'll take the flowers while we can, I guess.
Dude, and that's such a position you could easily shut it down to. You have to work so hard every single play, and for him not to shut it down shows a lot to his character.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like let's be clear for a minute. Like, so what if he's chasing the record? Number one, no offense, Greg, but the Browns got nothing else to strive for this year. Exactly. But number two, like what are you gonna say? Like, no, it's about the team, so I'm just gonna not try to break this record. Right. Like, no, man, go get that record.
Right.
Go get that record. Good for him.
And for anybody that watched too, I mean, Cincinnati's offensive line has been dreadful all season, and they planned for it, and even more so last week because Cincinnati ran the ball a lot today, a lot more than they usually do. And then last week, dude, Rodgers, it showed a stat. It was like the longest pass he had the longest he held the ball before passing. It was 1.3 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what
Greg,
I'm saying? Like, that's insane.
Greg, you know why too, right? Myles Garrett has never sacked Rodgers, and Rodgers said he was not going to allow it to happen.
I did hear that they were more focused on that, and that's why I ended up ultimately why they lost the damn game.
Yeah, they didn't care about the
one
game.
time he had him, and he was so close that Rodgers just threw it out. You know,
that was so funny. Yeah, they looked at each other. Yeah.
So whatever, but it's the guy has played his ass off for us for a lot of years. He hasn't gotten much of any. I mean, he's got paid, for sure. But as far as what the true athletes look for in accolades and stuff like that, he hasn't gotten it as a Cleveland Brown. So it's nice to see him get one. And then, a big shout out to my fiance's grandmother, Lee, who turned 94 years old today, and she is still. We went over there, took her some flowers, and had a little bit of sit down with her, man. And she is still just she is a firecracker, man, for 94. So big shout out to her, man.
Shout out to Lee. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, all is good on my end. Real quick, I wasn't here last week. Greg and Corey, thanks for running the show. Greg, you did a fantastic job. I did listen to the episode. Corey, glad you were there.
Did I not do a fantastic job?
I'm just kidding. I was just messing with you. No, you both. No, see,
that was a real side swipe.
In all serious, no, you guys did a really good job. I especially liked the beginning of just like the first half of the show. You guys did an awesome job. So wild to hear about your Christmas travel debacle, Corey. Shout out to Dustin. He's a good man. I was at the Miami Heat game on Monday. I went down with my buddy Vinny. Shout out to Vinny for getting the tickets and stuff. I tell you what, guys, Miami's like another universe to me. It's a whole different world down there. It is wild. Like just everything about it. We walked around Bayside Marketplace after the game, which is right across from the Heat Arena, the Casilla Center. And it's basically like this big outdoor open air mall. And it was awesome. Like we just walked around. I didn't buy anything. We just walked around, all kinds of just people, dude. I'm talking all walks of life. Just a wild, conglomeration of people. It just made me realize how much I love our little hometown up here in Stuart, Florida, in Martin County. But all good there. I am glad that, our producer Janine just said, I like to play Spot the American in Miami. It's so true. I mean, we went to the Heat game. They played the Denver Nuggets, and that's, Nikola Jokic. He's like the biggest superstar in NBA for those listening that don't know that. He's from Serbia. Just Europeans and Serbians and all across that area of the country or of the world, they were everywhere, dude. We almost saw a fight right in front of us. The game was a blowout. Jokic got hurt. We literally almost saw a fight over a hat right in front of us. I mean, it got heated. It's just a wild time down there. I'm glad I don't live down there. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say on that. But good to be back. Kids go back to school tomorrow. Glad everything's getting back to normal. Holidays were fantastic. Awesome time. So happy to get things back to routine and get things back to normal. Guys, tonight is our 100th episode. So I want to pay a few minutes to that. But before I do have, I don't want to go any further without making a little announcement and shout out, the ultimate shout out. So as you guys all know, and thank you for your support all week, my mentor, my longtime mentor in recovery for more than 14 years now. He did pass away last Monday night, Papa Ron. Shout out to Papa Ron. He's in the big meeting in the sky now. I don't know. I don't really want to dwell too much on it. This isn't really the venue for it. I will say that I have grieved the way that God wants me to grieve. I've had my moments. Some have been good moments. Some have been bad moments. It was emotional the first couple of days. But then with life and working and just everything going on, it was like kind of hard to just let my feelings out for a while. But you guys all reached out. Thank you, Corey. I talked to you in person on Tuesday, and I've talked to enough people. I don't want to say I've shed enough tears, because if the tears come back, they come back. But I loved him dearly. You guys all knew him pretty well. We do not idolize people in recovery, right? But damn, man, he was just a huge part of my sobriety for a lot of years. He taught me so much. I can't even really begin to describe what he meant to me. It's just, if anybody's had that kind of person in their life, then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, he was my mentor, spiritual advisor. He was my landlord for a while. He was like I have a great relationship with my dad, but he was like another father figure to me. He kicked me in the butt when I needed it. He soft patted me and told me he loved me when I needed it. Sometimes he kicked me in the butt while telling me he loved me, and I needed that too. But shout out to him. He was sick for a lot of years, and caught up with him. So that's all I want to say about that. I don't really know where else to go. If you guys want to say anything real quick, you can. You don't have to. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but
I just want to say, while you mentioned like we don't idolize anybody in recovery, we do honor the fact that that people came before us in this way of life, and even more important than they got sober is the fact that they decided that this was worth giving to somebody else.
Yeah.
Because, without Papa Ron getting sober, you don't get sober.
Right.
A couple other people don't get sober, at least in the time that they were, and I don't get sober. You know what I mean? Like, at least in the universe.
No, there's an effect there for sure.
I mean, you could say that there's alternate realities or something of way things happen, but at least the way we know it, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So.
Right. We probably don't all four sit here on this here podcast tonight. I would imagine that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's worth a thought,
Yeah.
And so. I was going to say, along the lines too, is like, we don't idolize people, but I mean, I'll speak for myself, and I would think that anybody else individually, like, I got pedestals for people for sure.
Yeah.
And something that, first off, like, shout out to, and prayers to Kathleen and Butch and the rest of his family and anybody that was touched by him. But the thing that I took the most from him, I got, plenty of stories and personal encounters and this and that, but just kind of like what you said, Shawn, is like the ability to be hard and be, an ass when you need to be, and then turn around and have love, or have love right in that same moment, and you could always tell that from him.
Yeah.
So whether he was yelling at kids in a recovery group to get out of the way of the door, or in not so nice terms, a lot of other stuff. But it was always from love, and it was always, you could tell that dude had a huge heart, man. So
yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think I mean, dude, he's just one of the presence. That's the word that comes to mind for me, is present. Because he's a guy that could sit there, and when we're on the mountain or whatever like that, just his presence alone says millions of words. And that, like you guys just said, man, that doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. We don't happen. This doesn't happen. Everything happens for a reason, and he was placed into people's lives for a reason, and the reason, comes out on the other side, and it's just, it's sad but grateful. You know what I mean? To me,
sure. For sure. My big regret was that I didn't get to actually see him before he passed. I had this, I had the Hallmark movie played out in my head for many years now, what I would say and how that moment would be. And talking to his mentor, Robert, Jay, who we all know very well, as well. He was like, Shawn, he's like, it normally doesn't happen like that. You don't normally get to be at the exact right moment, the exact right spot at that moment when these things happen. Very rarely you do. And that was what I was most upset about when I first found the news. But I do get to go see his body tomorrow, before they cremate him, and he'll be all, made up and presentable and stuff. Because it apparently wasn't, he didn't look that great towards the end either, which I won't go into detail. But that's enough for me. I just want to be able to see his body, and even though I know that he's always listening and he can hear me, and trust me, I believe that 100%, in heaven with God, but it'll be important for me to see his body and like say that tomorrow. So I'm good with that. We're doing a little something with just his family and a couple of really close personal friends at the end of January. And then I will be planning something specifically here in Martin County in our little recovery community, probably sometime in February. I've already reached out to a few venues, and I got permission from Butch and his sister Holly, and obviously Kathleen, to kind of take the lead on that, which I offered and I was more than happy to do. It's kind of my, how I can be of service that way. So, and you know what's interesting, guys? I'll give him a shout out. Corey, our boy, Chris Redding, last night, I get the most random text message from him. And all it says is, tell me something you are excited about. I haven't talked to him in like a couple days. And that's all this text message said. And if you guys knew Chris, he's a character. He is full of life and full of energy and passion and just vigor for recovery. And huge heart. And he just texts me. That's it. Haven't talked to him in a couple days. And he just says, tell me something you are excited about. And I was like, what the F is this? And then he like explained why he asked that. And apparently there's some study to it, which I won't get into, but it asking that question rather than how are you, it apparently gets different parts of the brains working. So I was driving. I said, listen, I'm driving right now, but I'm going to answer that question because I got something to say. And you know what my response is as much as I am going to miss Papa Ron and everything he meant to me, everything he was for me and what he stood for, I am excited to get a new mentor and have a new experience in recovery, whether that's through the traditional format that we all know and come to love about recovery or a different or whatever it is. I am excited to get a new mentor and have a new experience because I know that that's what Papa Ron would want. He wouldn't want me to sit idle and sit on my ass. He'd want me to go, continue to learn, continue to grow, and most importantly, continue to go help others. So I, in a weird way, man, I'm excited for that. And the sadness may or may not come back. I'm sure it will, especially during services and memorials, but I am excited to see what the next evolution in my own sobriety has by remaining teachable and getting a new mentor. So I don't know.
Well, Shawn, when you're ready, just call me. All right.
Corey and Tyler, our friend Tyler, did say that they would dual mentor me if I wanted that. The two of them would tag team being my mentor, which
I
was
don't
very,
know
very
if
nice.
That's what they meant by tag teaming.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go.
Tyler is a little, we don't know yet. So, but I appreciate that.
Shawn, I want to say that it makes me super happy to hear that you're able to go see his body, kind of say goodbye, and on your. I know that's a huge closure. Like that, you just made me. I love that for you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. So, all right, I think we've done that enough. 100th episode. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but we got to pay homage to this. So I want to start with this. Dan, what is your, obviously you joined us a few months ago, so you weren't, what is your like first, I don't know if memory is the right word, but like what stands out to you the most when we talk about Trudge Report podcast before you joined up and before you were a guest and in those first weeks and months and those episodes when you found out us hooligans were getting together to do this? What jumps out at you?
It's hard for me, man, because it's like a selfish only me thing. So I feel like that's bad for the listeners. So I want to like what jumps out to me is the familiarity and what your voices bring to me and mean to me. You know what I mean? And that's why I would listen all the time and stuff like that. And it made me feel like I was home in my own realm, dude. And everything you talked about resonates. You know what I mean? And knowing you guys and knowing your purpose and goal is to help other people gives this podcast so much depth and weight. You know what I mean? But it's like kind of sucks for the listener saying that.
No, that's all right. That's right.
what it, that's what it means to me though. Like instantly, that's just I feel home, man, with you guys.
Do you reaching back in the old episodes we did? Do you ever remember any episode that stands out, or a topic, or anything that?
Greg's rants, man.
Yeah,
Greg's rants. 100%. Greg's right. Shopping cart. I remember.
We might have to bring one of those back, Greg, just for old time's sake.
Oh, just let me know. I got a bag of them over here.
Yeah. I was on the edge of my seat waiting to hear those, man.
That's funny. That's good stuff. Corey, what about you? What jumps out at you the most? Memory, whatever it could be. Kind of take it in any direction you want.
What? Like favorite memory of the past
Just
100?
yeah, or anything, or just what stands out to like so for me, it's the different formats and segments that we used to try to cram into one episode with 4 people. And we tried so hard to like really go do all these different things. I mean, Dan, we would have an around the horn segment, a topic segment, another topic segment, and then like we'd end on something, we'd want to end on something, you know what I mean? And just that's what stood out to me is just how like lost in the dark we all were for like well over that first year. And I would even argue only since
Up until a couple weeks ago.
Well, I would say a few months ago, at least, a little bit before Dan joined us, we kind of all got together, when Bill was still here of like, we're going to really focus on what we all know best, recovery. But we used to try to cram so much crap into different episodes. And I used to think some of these ideas were like the greatest ideas. Like these are going to hit so hard. And they just didn't. So what about you, Corey? What stands out to you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. For one, like what you just said, I think one of the best things we've done is move away from trying to be sports analysts because turns out Go Birds isn't that informative to anybody. And that's about as much as I got on sports. So that's probably good. An honorable mention at the beginning of the show has been good, but there for a while we tried to recap the games, I think. At least for
Yeah, didn't you do a whole thing on fantasy football? There was like a whole episode on fantasy football.
Oh God, we suck. My God.
I remember that.
It's terrible.
But one of my favorite memories is the time that I went on a rant from hell about a specific group of people, not a race or anything, nobody get crazy, but a group of a section of recovery around here in the Treasure Coast, and I went on a whole rant of just nasty things to say, and then honestly, Shawn, I think I came to terms with it on my own. I think I texted you the next morning and maybe said I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I asked for it to be removed and blah blah blah.
You did bring it up of your own volition. I remember that, and I remember that morning I was walking the girls to school, and you did come through on our thread and say something about it.
But then you and I spoke privately, and you were like, "Listen, I'm not telling you to remove it, but it's probably not a bad idea." So we removed it, and it's never been heard. And
it should be.
Maybe those are the uncut episodes.
Yeah, it should be. And honestly, I feel the same way. I have no regrets. And that's it. So unfortunately, they don't know it, but they will one day.
I think we might have brought it up and mentioned it quite a few more times on the pod. Maybe they can figure it out. But
and then I moved here.
And then you moved there. Yeah, if that doesn't give it away. Good stuff. Greg, what about you? What stands out? I don't know, just anything.
Yeah, I guess on the sappy side of things, it is it's nice for me, having moved away to get to see you guys every week, and get to spend an hour digitally with my bros, right? But also on a side note, yeah, like all the rants and stuff like that, that was so much fun. But like where we were having a lot of fun at first, and then we just kind of like stumbled and faltered through a good chunk of episodes, and we got them out there, you know what I'm saying? And we figured it out. We've gone through a change of hosts now, and I feel like we're at a pretty good clip. I do love the fact that we are a little bit more focused now. I won't say supremely focused. I think that we could probably work on that a little bit more, but I enjoy where we're going. One thing I do really like in the one episode that stands out to me, of course, I love having our guests on. That's always fun. I think it's cool, informative, and nice to see somebody else's viewpoint on things. But I like the episodes where we're having a real life conversation amongst us. We're not just talking about recovery as it pertains directly to our literature or something like that, but we're branching out into a subject that might have a little bit more of an opinionated kind of stuff. And I think we did an episode where we really like kind of keyed in on both the benefits and the pitfalls of the treatment industry, and I like when it's not four of us talking into an echo chamber about the same thing, and we can have different viewpoints and we can have an intelligent debate about that kind of stuff. I enjoy that. So
yeah, I love that. I want to give a rack in my brain. There are two favorite episodes. First favorite episode was when all you guys got together in studio.
Those were fun.
Freaking amazing. That was super awesome because I was just so happy. Like, no, you know what I mean? And it looked super cool. And I thought it was awesome. And you guys are going to crack up at this one. The second favorite episode is when Shawn and Bill disagreed on meeting etiquette. That was
the one
great,
where he
dude.
was trying to make a point and I didn't I couldn't understand what he was trying to say.
Dude, the awkwardness was amazing. I love that.
And just for my own personal sake, love you, Bill DeLuca, but he wasn't making any sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if it was sense or not. I think it was you guys were coming at it from different views. Like he was saying this was okay, and you were not, but you were not understanding why he was saying this was okay.
I'm gonna go back and pull some clips. Look for him on Facebook.
Yeah, but dude, I'll never forget that there was a very substantial pause.
Dude,
I remember.
So first off, shout out to seeing you guys at least once a week. Meaning you guys in Ohio, because like Dan just said, like that's something that I don't take for granted because Dan's one of my closest friends, but dude, with life and stuff, like
screw Greg. Jeez, Corey, God.
Well, I talked to Greg because of a group chat,
I'm just kidding.
But I get to see Dan so much more now, and that's nice. Now I haven't spoken to Bill in fucking 4 months, but so I'll have to text him, I guess.
He sends his regards. I spoke to him tonight.
Oh, good. Also, when we're talking about favorite episodes, I want to shout out the Warren episodes.
Those were great, dude.
With Chris
shout
McKinnell.
out to you, fun. Corey, for getting him on the pod. Those were fantastic.
Yeah, maybe I'm biased because of that, but like it was fun talking about spookies. You know what? Shout out to Halloween episodes in general. I love when we do Halloween stuff.
Yes,
it's fun.
Yeah, and you're not biased, bro. That's a good pull. Like, that's like, we don't have to congratulate ourselves and stuff. But that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. That's what happens when you just DM people and ask them if they want to be on your podcast. I'm now working on Nikki Bella, smoke show from the WWE, 42-year-old, possibly with Cooper DeJean.
So you'll be single and homeless soon?
Are they dating, Corey?
They're doing something.
Ah, good for them.
And it breaks my heart a little bit, but Gabby's on an overnight tonight. I can say whatever the hell I want in this house.
All right, perfect.
Don't clip this, Greg, please. All right,
clip it.
Yeah, we got
Send
an extra
right to her social media.
Yeah, we got an extra bedroom, Corey. You're good. I need an account.
By the way, Greg, she saw the clip of when we were talking about Gabby's mom's cooking, and she's like, "You realize you proceeded to rattle off everything she had catered, right? Like she didn't cook any of that you were talking about." And I was like, "Fuck!"
Don't say that. Yeah, let us know.
Let the internet stay in disbelief, Corey. Good God.
Whatever, it's fine.
Listen, I know we overdid it and we maybe weren't that good at it, but I loved the deep dive episodes. I loved when we did a deep dive. Do you remember the Dire Wolf episode, Greg?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I remember people on the internet like just commenting like, you guys don't know shit.
Which is true. We didn't. But I remember the Monsanto episode. I took a lot of pride in that one because I really did my homework. I don't know. I love that we did the YSL trial. Remember the YSL trial?
That was weird, dude. I couldn't even listen to that. That was wildly off. Yeah, that was wild. I don't even I was like on the plane listening. I remember that, and I was like, what's even happening right now?
Has anybody else over the past 100 weeks gotten just pissed off at something we were doing? That night I got pissed, like nothing against you, Shawn, but I was like, when we were halfway through that episode,
I don't even remember. I feel like it was Bill's idea.
It was probably a combination, but halfway through that, I'm like, why are we even platforming these guys?
Dude, I was like, what's happening right now?
Young G-string and little dump truck and shit like that.
I know, dude. I was like, what is happening?
There was that. God, we did the what was the cop that got found in the snow? That Karen Reed.
That's intriguing though. If you actually, I mean, that's super intriguing. That was the idea. It was like, hey, like
we all have heard or listened to like true crime and podcasts. I was like, that's what we could be that, which we're not that. I want to be clear. We don't need to be that. Thank God we've come to our senses that we're not that. But I did have fun, at least attempting some of those things,
No, it's always good to try and help people try to commit murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just funny, Shawn, that January of 2024, when we were texting about starting a podcast, if you would have asked me, the last thing we were going to talk about was sobriety. And
yeah.
Sure enough, here we are.
No, you're right. Well, it all started. I mean, Corey, do you remember how it all started? Like, I don't even remember how the four of us, and when I say four of us, I mean, Bill, how we ended up in that group text message thread anyways.
I probably said go Birds.
Yeah.
And wanted to rant off about some.
Rest is history. Live on air.
The rest is history, for sure.
Now I have 100 regrets.
Best group text ever started. Best group text ever started.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. What do you guys think? Should we segue into some recovery stuff, or should we just?
We are a recovery podcast.
All right.
I'm already bored, so we should probably move on.
I'm recovered, so I'm gonna head out.
All right.
So like Greg and Corey ran the show last week, and they which I thought that was good form, Greg. It just kind of forego what we had been talking about until the four of us were back together. We've spent the last couple weeks, besides last week, talking about an inventory process, a lot of resentments, to the point where like my mom was asking me about resentments the other night, and like, what is a resentment actually? And she even specifically said, I always heard that term, but didn't fully understand what it meant until you guys broke it down on the podcast. So like, I know she's my mom and she's biased and possibly our biggest fan besides Maggie, Corey, but it was kind of cool to know. I'm sure there's other people out there that have probably heard those terms and heard the lingo, but didn't really quite know what it means. And especially in the perspective of how we, know the word resentment and what it means to us and how deadly it can be to people in recovery. I want to shift today and talk about fear. Now, I know fear is whatever. You hear it all the time. It's a broad topic. It encompasses many things, but specifically fear as it pertains to us in recovery, how we take inventory, how it runs our life, how it affects, I think our literature says it is an evil and corroding thread. The fabric of our existence is shot through with it. So I want to kick it right to Corey. Fear. How does fear run your life? What does it look like? And if you can come at it from early sobriety and then like current sobriety, because there's two completely different ways it comes at us. So let's focus on early sobriety. How did fear run your life in early sobriety, Corey?
That might be a hard question. I might need your help with this. I would say that fear was kind of like menial back then. And maybe that's just the stage of life I was in, where like I didn't have like, I was 19. I didn't have big boy shit. You
thought you knew everything kind of thing. Well, and I don't mean that, I'm not trying to take a dig at you, but I mean like that mindset.
I mean, to a degree, but like I didn't have big boy stuff yet. You know what I mean? Like, and like, I shouldn't even say it like that. I didn't have like, I'll put it like this. Today I have things to be fearful over that truly matter. You know what I mean? That matter more than anything. You know what I mean? I didn't know what fear was, to a degree. It was real to me back then. My fears back then were like, I mean, I remember listing it out, like fear of employment, fear of unemployment, figure that out, right?
Fear of success, fear of failure,
fear of the law, I guess, you know what I mean? Because I was never up to any good, and like there was always, you know what I mean? So a lot of those fears were like that fear, for instance, was directly correlated with the lifestyle I was living. You know what I mean?
Right. And those are all fears that if we stay sober, so here's to the new person listening to this. If you have those fears too, totally understandable. We relate. If you stay sober and work a recovery program, those fears kind of go away. You will get a job eventually. You will get your legal stuff squared away. You will get, like all that stuff will get handled.
But some of the fears that like that I had then that can still crop up are I don't know, like fucking I don't know if I'm not living correctly, you know what I mean? If I'm not living like I should be, I'm fearful of what people think of me. I'm often like I make decisions based on fear that always go wrong. Like if I don't think I'm gonna get something that I need, financial is a huge one. You know that I could have had back then, but is even feels deeper today. You know what I mean? But then today, like what I mean by fears that matter is like there's fears that like you just kind of have to give to God, I guess. We've talked about it many times, Shawn. Like I at some point developed a weird relationship with death in the past couple of years where like mortality kind of freaks me out more than it ever has. That's probably just getting older. I guess you old sons of bitches can tell me about that. You know what I mean? Like things like that, just health, but like also like my family, you know what I mean? Like I have fears for them. Those aren't things those are not fears that are crippling my life today though. You know what I mean? Like some of that stuff is just like you were kind of roll with the punches and put faith in God and whatever happens happens. I will say this. The fears that crop up today, like those, I notice when I'm on a good meditation routine. My morning routine, Shawn, when my morning routine is going well, I don't think so much about the things that I can't control. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's whatever. But anyway, yeah. So fear looks way different than it used to, but it could still trample all over your life if you let it.
Yeah. Greg, what about you? What was it in early sobriety? Juxtapose that to what it is now. What were you afraid of losing or not getting? Those kind of things.
Well, before sobriety, I was just scared of running out of dope, or running out of money, one of the two. But yeah, I think in the very beginning, I was scared. And this is like while I'm still in rehab, but like I'm scared to admit that I'm like the rest of these people at the very beginning, right? Because then it meant I didn't know what it meant at that point. I didn't know what the rest of my life or even within a couple weeks was going to look like if I really admitted that. And then when I did kind of come to terms with that, like, I don't want to say it made things easier, but it certainly alleviated some of that crushing anxiety of, why I am the way that I am and why I run from everything. And I think that was the biggest thing is with fears is, especially before getting sober, is I just ran from everything. I was so terrified to look in the mirror and see what the real problems were. And I ran from all of it, when I was, scared of losing my job because I was doing them dirty and stealing money or stealing product and, scared to face the family that I was stealing from, the loved ones, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was always constantly just running away from my problems because I was terrified of them. What that kind of evolved it, throughout, working a recovery program and everything like that is that, I had to take, the good, honest look at myself for sure. But then with, really analyze what those fears were and take them right to God, and that was the answer. And now I'm not going to say that I am without fear, but like certainly stuff like early on, I can always remember, am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to do the right thing? Am I going to make the right action in front of these people? Because, of course I want them to like me and I want to fit in and I want to this, that, and the other. And somewhere along the line, when I started praying for that stuff, the answer that came to me was, I think what comes to a lot of us anyways, is that we're all just learning. Like every human being on earth is just trying to
grow up,
get through. There's no manual to it. We just got to do it. And that to me was, it made so much sense to me, and it helped alleviate all that to the point where it's like, nowadays, like, I don't care what you think of me. You know, trust me. Like, do I care what you guys think of me? Yeah, I want you guys to look at me like I'm a man of integrity and a good representation of what a program of recovery can look like. I want my family to look at me like they can depend on me and stuff like that. But for the greater people, you know, if you look at me and think some kind of way about me or something like that in your head, then that's on you, my man, or woman. You know, I don't know what to tell you, but what fears look for me like today is, you know, kind of a lot of what Corey was talking about, but you know, my the finances, the making sure that I'm setting myself and my family up for success in life, making sure that, you know, I'm a good role model, and a good picture of what being a man's like in my own home with my fiance, with her son, and trying to set the right kind of structure and you know, just good nature for the household, you know. But certainly I grapple with that daily. I grapple with the finances. I you know, I want to make sure that we're all taken care of in that aspect. And yeah, the big boy problems of life, which I'm blessed to have, because, you know, back when I first got sober, like those problems weren't even close, you know. They were those were made up things as far as I was concerned. So nowadays I'm blessed to have those things that I fear, and I take them to the man upstairs, and you know, things go good when I do so.
Yeah, there's definitely an evolution to our fears, right? Like, and Corey, you touched on it too. I don't have a family in early sobriety. I didn't, right? And none of us really did. You know, there are people that get sober with families, but I didn't have a family. I didn't have a job or a car or a mortgage or any of these things, you know, to be fearful of, you know. So the point you made, Corey, about that was very good. And I think you're right. Besides the fear of staying sober, I think they're not as much in the forefront of my mind early in sobriety, almost as they are as the years go on. So that's a good point. Dan, what about you? What's your fears? What did it look like in early sobriety or through your sobriety? I know you kind of were in a little different position than us, because you had a son, you were married at one point, all that stuff. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would just want to start with, like, you know, the biggest fear that kept me out, you know, the fear of admitting that I'm the problem. You know, like, that's the biggest fear of them all to me. Anyways, that's like, as soon as we started talking about fears, that's like the fear of admitting that I was a problem and I had an issue is what kept me to keep doing what I was doing, because I could correct it and fix it and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, coming in, I would totally agree with you guys that I think the fears are heavier now, you know, but solvable. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the fears now have to be walked by me, because I've created this foundation that I can walk these fears and walk through these fears. Where early on, man, I've said before on the pod, you know, that you know, I was so nervous to do something wrong. Me and Corey would talk after work and stuff like that all the time of things going on in life. My mentor, people at recovery meetings, I would unload all my fears all the time, you know. So really early on, there was not, you know, my life sucked. I had a bag of clothes. I got like $2, you know, I got a pay by day phone. There was not, you know, like the fears were not really there. It's like, you know, but I also had all those things, you know, getting divorced. I just signed everything over. I didn't want anything, whatever you got to do. You keep this, you do that, because I know that I needed to focus on me, and I need to try to fix me in order to be okay. You know, having my son, you know, the fear of all these things, but that's literally how the program works. You know what I mean? Having a mentor and doing these things. Hey, just give it a year. Why don't you just stay down here a year and let's just see what happens? Because I need to go back and I do it. My fears were alleviated by other people. You know, these people that walked before me. I'd say probably my biggest fear in early sobriety is probably gonorrhea. That was probably my biggest fear.
Please clip that.
Oh, come on, man. We got to be
That was
real.
good.
Oh, man. But yeah,
you couldn't wait to get that in, could you?
I couldn't wait, dude. I couldn't wait.
Good.
I just keep seeing Ross's face yelling, getting so mad every single time. Oh, man.
So don't leave us hanging. Don't leave the listeners hanging. Did you actually contract gonorrhea?
Maybe or maybe not. We will have to tune into further episodes. There's a story that goes with that too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, dude. I mean, fear is like really on early on. Like now, dude, it's like so all the things that finances, this and that, you know. But I'm able to rely on God and rely on these things that check me back in. That like, you know, like, dude, at work, man, I f up, things happen and stuff like that. It never holds weight. You know, I apologize. I try to make it right and I move on, whether it's work or anything, man. Or I'm coaching kids. You know what I mean? Am I going to be perfect? No. You know, is a parent going to be belligerent at me? Maybe. Nothing I can do, man. I can only try to make it right. What they do with it, like Greg said, it is what it is. You know, I just try to do what I think is right, and it's not always going to be right, but we just try our best, and the fears are alleviated now. But I feel like they're heavier now, man. They really are. They're definitely a lot heavier.
So I want to snake it. I want to snake it right back that same way we came. Dan, do you have any fear about being honest about your past?
No, not at all. I mean, I tell everyone, dude.
Open book,
honestly,
right?
Yeah, open book. My customers. I mean, people I just met. It's just no, because it's part of me, and you know, and that's like we all know a lot of people that are not the same way with it. You know what I mean? They're kind of like on guard with it, and like to me, like I can't be that because that's changing like the fabric of like that's part of it to me, anyways. You know, and but yeah, I'm an open book. Everything, the whole 9 yards, man.
What about you, Greg? Any fear about being honest about your past?
No, I mean, I don't necessarily like, I'm not going to be like in a job interview and divulge it, you know, like I bring it up when it is, you know, the right moment to do so. But I don't have an issue with it. I'm same way. Like, we were at a party over the weekend, a birthday party for the kids, for my fiance's family, and her, cousin's husband was offering me absinthe, and he was a little lit himself and offered me like 3 different times. I'm just like, no, man, no, I'm good. And like, you know, I think that I've had a conversation with him before about being sober, but you know, it's absinthe. I guess it packs a punch, and you know, he was feeling good or whatever. But you know, then a couple of her family members had asked me about it, and like I said, I've been in depth with some of her family, and I've you know, there are others I haven't spoken with about it, but it's not because I'm scared of what they'll think or scared of being honest about it. It's just I'm careful about how I bring it up and who I bring it up to, because I don't know what somebody else's past is. And so that's just me personally. Like, you know, if they have certain feelings or resentments or have been through a certain kind of thing, like that's not on me necessarily to dredge that up, but I'm always open to discussing it with anybody for any reason, especially if it's to help somebody else. So
Corey, what about you?
I want to clarify. Do you mean by past, do you just mean like being a drug addict and alcoholic? Or do you mean
well, yeah, but anything else too? Like, you know, is there stuff in your past that you did as a drug addict and alcoholic that you're afraid of disclosing to anyone, really? You know, just about being honest with it.
So yeah, there are things I don't think fearful, maybe not, but there are things that are reserved for need to know ears. That's just me.
Yeah, I would agree.
I got completely honest with who I needed to get completely honest with when I needed to, and I'm sober as a result. But some of that stuff is just need to know basis, and I'll use it to help people, and I have used it to help people. But other than that, it's like,
right,
you know, what's the point? Kind of, it, you know.
So that actually, you make a really good point, and we should clarify that as part of the recovery program that we all work, there is a process when dealing with fear, but not just fear about this kind of part. They're talking about the resentments and the inventory and the harms done and where were we at fault. I can't even stress how important enough it is to be honest with, like Corey said, at least one person or the appropriate amount of people, the appropriate people, because keeping that part of my recovery program, working these spiritual exercises, if I'm not honest with at least that one person, and I am picking and choosing who I tell what or holding some things to myself, thinking that a solitary self-appraisal can be sufficient, that can spell danger, very much danger for the recovering drug addict or alcoholic or the person who's trying to recover. If I keep that stuff to myself. So that is a good distinction. I think you made that, Corey. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
Very good distinction.
Dude, I want to say, like, you know, because I've experienced it multiple times, whether it's work or whatever. You know, the power of conversation is so important, man. And because I divulge everything, you know what I mean, to people and stuff like that, I've had such amazing freaking experiences with people that I would never have this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like there's such a commonality that people don't understand in this world of how everyone's family, man, is some way affected in some way,
Right.
shape, or form, like cancer, man. It's the same, you know, like seriously. And it's like, I don't know, the power of conversation has hit me so hard so many times with people that it never would if the things haven't happened before that, you know what I mean, that put me in the place that I am today. And like, I don't know, it's just super powerful, man. It
Yeah.
really is. It's amazing.
I agree. And I want to say, like, as far as like being fearful of like telling people about being a drug addict or being in recovery or something, again, still no, not fearful, but like Greg said, like I'm a little selective with it. And by selective, I mean like when we get to know each other, you can totally know all about it because that's what's going to place me in a position to be useful and helpful. You know what I mean? And it's happened. And like I'm looking at probably, I can confidently say, switching jobs here in a few weeks, and my future employer doesn't know. Will he? Probably. Like, but I'm gonna get in there first. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna hang out for a little while first. But yeah, like my employers have always known at a time because it's usually a scheduling thing, to be honest, because I have things to do, recovery related.
Well, and I think too, you guys have all kind of touched on it a little bit, but the I will be honest, as much as I need to be, as clear as I need to be when it serves a purpose in helping another, especially another sick and suffering alcoholic, right? Our past is kind of the greatest asset we have when it comes to helping that sick and suffering, that new person, or whatever the case may be. So that is an important distinction as well. Greg, who do you fear disappointing? Who? People, who do you fear disappointing? Anybody?
Well, I mean, I think at the top of that list has got to be God, whatever you call it, you know, your higher power, spirituality, whatever it is for you. But like to me, whenever I go and I've got that little moment where I can make the right decision or the wrong decision, you know, that's always like over the top of my head is like, you know, I don't want to be a disappointment to that power, you know, and turn my back on that. But certainly I've done a lot of work, you know, with my family, with my mom, my stepdad, my sister, you know, those people that knew me before. And then certainly those people that have come into my life now, my fiance, her son, her parents, her sister, you know, those people that are close in my life, I don't want to disappoint them. You know, thankfully I'm not out here making crazy decisions with my life on the daily anymore that I'm hoping I'm not going to put them in the position to be disappointed in me. And certainly I think the most is like, you know, my sister's kids, my fiance's son, you know, the innocent ones, the truly innocent ones that it's like, yeah, like I can't imagine putting them, you know, in front of a bullet, like, you know, and obviously figuratively speaking, of course, but like putting them in front of even close to what I used to be. So I'm thankful that they never had the chance to meet that individual that I used to be, and I certainly would never want to disappoint them in that way.
Danny, what about you? Is there anyone in your life that you fear disappointing?
Yeah, just like Greg said, just kids, my kids, man. You know what I mean? That's it. That's just being enough and doing enough, which I know he's know it is, and I have great, people around me that tell me like, obviously you're doing enough and all that. But that's my biggest fear. You know what I mean? But otherwise, everything else is, like I said, it's all faceable, man. Because now I have grounding and I have these things in my life, But it's just because you want the best for your kids. It's not a bad thing, to have that fear. To me, anyways, has not been depicted to be a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because you want the best for your kids, and that's
Yeah. Corey?
Who am I fearful of disappointing?
Yeah.
It's basically the same answer. Although I'll say this, like as far as my parents and stuff, I think I've far exceeded their expectations of me, at least when I was 19. Like I was able to manage to stay sober and become somewhat self-sufficient. So I think they're pleased. The kids and just my loved ones, like you guys, you know what I mean? Like I hope that my friends have a decent they think decent things when they think of me, and not like, God, he's fucking painful to be around. You know what I mean? Because I know I can be at times, but I hope that's not like the first thought. Just that stuff, Shawn, I've brought you things before where I was like, oh my God, like he's gonna be so upset, and you've been very pleasant about those things. I've had fears like that, but I don't live in any of that, I don't think.
And for the record, there's been some doozies.
Yeah. I will be that friend for you, Shawn. I will bring you the fun stuff.
I would have it no other way, my friend. I would have it no other way. Listen, I agree with everything. The kids, yes, but like I fear disappointing my wife. Kind of to your point, Corey, like my parents, I know they're proud of me, and I know that, I've completely come out on the other end of that whole thing and how I was, but I fear disappointing my wife. I no matter how many conversations we have about our relationship and I just it's almost like a societal thing. I can't help but fear. You see all these other relationships as they grow older and marriages that go bad, whatever the case may be. I fear that. I fear of staying attractive enough to my wife, loving enough to my wife, supportive enough, both emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Like I fear all those things, but kind of to Dan's point, they're almost like motivating fears, in a way, which, obviously can't be completely a bad thing if they are motivating us to be better and do better. I think sometimes what comes into play is that self complacency, and that's that can go in the wrong direction. So what else? Anybody got anything in closing? We're about out of time here. We went a little heavy on the nostalgia and the RIP shout outs, but I think we got a good chunk of fear in there.
Happy 100, boys. That's what I want to say. Happy 100.
Happy 100.
Proud of all three of you, man. Freaking awesome.
Here's
man.
to 100 more.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God, that sounds dreadful.
Corey will be 22.
Corey, we're gonna have you host one of these days, Corey.
Oh, good. Yeah,
So
I'd love that.
Dude,
all right, well, listen.
You should have just me and Corey do it. It would be a freaking shit.
Oh, that'll be fun.
We'll talk about all the STDs.
Oh man.
On that note, shout out to our listeners. Please like, follow, and share on all socials at Trudge Report Pod. Email us, trudgereportpod@yahoo.com. Send in your mailbag requests for topics, questions, and comments to any of these handles. Remember, we are all here if anyone wants to talk about recovery and our experiences, or if you're struggling with some form of addiction. Thank you again to Janine and Stella Mix Podcast Management. Good night, God bless, and may you trudge the road of happy destiny. We will see you next week. Go Ravens.